Hi, it is day 18. We are almost to the end, but thank you again for joining me on our juice adventure. 24 days of raw juices and raw food recipes. And don't forget, on Christmas Day, you're going to get a free gift from me, which will include a recipe book with all the juices and all the raw food recipes. So let's get into today's juice. I'm sure that you've been in the grocery store and you've seen CranApple juice or cranberry juice, and then they have flavors called CranApple. So today we're going to be making our very own CranApple juice with our fresh apples and fresh cranberries. Now apples, you've heard the slogan, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, I'll let you decide if that's true or not. But apple definitely has many health benefits. One being that it's full of fiber, which promotes digestive health and gut health and keeps things moving through our digestive tract. It also promotes weight loss because our digestive tract is healthy, and it's loaded with vitamin C, which actually helps to protect against free radical damage and also helps to build and support the immune system. And apple has other benefits like helping with cholesterol levels, helping to reduce the risk of heart disease, helping to reduce diabetes, and so many other things. So eating an apple day may not keep the doctor away, but it'll definitely get you on the road to enjoying good health. So let's get started juicing. So I need some more cranberries, so I'll be right back. Okay, so this is one whole bag of cranberries. And remember, cranberries are tart in taste, so we're going to sweeten it up with the apples. And the cool thing about this is that we don't actually have to add any sugar to this. Alright, so now for our apples. I may just use 4 apples because I don't want to dilute the cranberry taste too much. Alright, I'm stuffing them in there too fast. Our last apple. All right, let's give this a taste. This is fresh CranApple juice. It should be sweet with a little bit of tart. Such a pretty color. All right, look at that. Isn't that delicious looking? All right, let's give it a taste. That is good. Nothing like fresh juice. And actually tastes nothing like the ones that come in the store. Fresh. All right, so let's move on to our raw food recipe. Today's recipe is raw squash soup. The squash that we're using today is called Calabaza, and it's also referred to as pumpkin. But it's this one, it's nice and sweet, and I actually prefer this one over butternut squash because I think this one is more sweeter. Now acorn squash is good as well. So it kind of resembles the acorn squash family in that it has the ridges on the outside. So I've already peeled and some already. So I'm going to show you how to take the seeds out, and we're just going to peel off the outside skin. So what's going to go in this soup is we have some celery. Of course, it's going to act as our sodium or our salt. We have 2 carrots, which is actually going to give it some sweetness. We have some onions that's going to give it some flavor. And we have some coconut cream or coconut milk. We're just using the cream part of it to give it a creaminess. And we have some seaweed flakes. I believe that's going to give it another depth of dimension. And of course, we have cinnamon and salt. So let's get this started. Oh, and I almost forgot basil. We have some more fresh basil to go in there as well. So what I'm going to do is, and we're just going to put all of that in a blender, and it's going to make a really nice soup. Now, to keep it raw, technically it's not supposed to be heated above a certain degree. But if you want to put it in a pot and just lightly warm it on the stove, feel free. You can go ahead and do that. But if you want to keep it raw, you can just, eat it raw, room temperature. But I actually like warm soup. But my Vitamix, if I leave something in the blender for about 5 minutes, it actually starts to heat up on its own. So I may do that, leave it in there until it heats up. Or I could just put it on the stove and warm it there. So let's get to putting this soup together, because I got a feeling it's going to be really good. We're in the fall season right now, so soups and squashes are big on the menu. If you're in colder climates, of course, you're definitely going to want something warm. So definitely warming the soup is okay. You just don't want to cook it, just on a low fire, and just stir it until it just gets a little bit warm. So I'm just going to scrape out the seeds and a little bit of the fiber strands on the inside. And because this is going in the blender, I don't have to get all of the fibers out. It's just going to blend up. And then any pieces that look like they need to come out. Now peeling this is hard. So you can find the best way to peel this. Peeling it like this is hard because the skin is really hard. I mean, you can kind of do the edge, but sometimes I get a little nervous about the knife slipping and cutting my finger. So I think the best way for me to cut this is to lay it down and shave the skin down like this. So just lay it flat and then just in a sawing motion, just slice the skin off of that. I find this to be the safest for me and the less time consuming. You do have to put a little bit of elbow grease in it because that skin is tough. I do have a vegetable peeler, but because of the ridges, the humps inside it, it makes it hard to use a vegetable peeler to peel it. So I just prefer a knife, and in one long swoop, I can just get it off like that. And then you want to make sure you get the green off. So don't be afraid. If you feel like you're going to cut off too much meat, it's okay. I'd rather cut off a little bit of extra meat to make sure the skin gets off versus having to go back and cut off the extra green part. So just do one cut one time, and that'll make it go right really, really fast. There we go. We got it. So it's a little green here, so I might just go back over that. Just kind of peel that off. All right, so now that the skin's off, now we need to cut it into chunks. Because again, we're going to put it in our blender, and we're going to make sure that it's small enough for the blades to grind it up. Because if I was to put this in the blender like this, it won't get cut up. So we're just going to cut these into small cubes. Now we do need a liquid for these to get started in. So we do have the coconut cream. So we'll start with the coconut cream, and if I need to add a liquid, I guess I could add a little bit of water. But if you want to add some flavor, I mean, we are going to flavor this with our vegetables. But if you have like a low sodium vegetable stock you want to use, or you have some vegetables and you've cooked them and you want to use the broth from that, you can add that in. So that'll be a nice addition. But just know that vegetable stock is cooked, so it won't be a fully raw dish. But those are just some options that you have. Okay, that's a lot of cubes, so I may not actually use all of this. And I only have 1 can of creamed coconut, so I don't want to have, I want to make sure I have enough liquid and cream to squash. So we'll start with this because we got to add all of our vegetables. Oh, and limes. We're going to add some lime to give it some brightness. Typically when you're blending something, you want to put the liquid first so that it's at the bottom, and then put the hard items on the top. Because if you put the hard items on the top and then the coconut cream is sitting on top, then there's nothing on the bottom to get it stirring, because the liquid will rise up and start everything to get to moving. So I'm going to grab a spoon or a fork, scoop out some coconut cream. And what I did with the cream, because it's hard, I put the can of coconut milk in the freezer for about 30 minutes, and then I opened the top and just drained off the water. So when I turned the can upside down, all the liquid came out and just left the cream. So I may actually have to add some liquid because this is really thick. Okay. So we'll start with about half. And grab some water. Just a little bit, about a 1/4 of a cup, just to help it start. Then we're going to put in our squash. Now the squash is going to take a little bit of extra effort, so I'll start with a little bit at a time. You definitely don't want to put everything in at once, because then it won't work right. Trust me. So we'll start with a little bit. So the liquid is starting to move around. So I'll just kind of shaking it. Okay, I was going to add some more, but I think I'm going to go on to some more vegetables. So we'll just monitor our portions as we go. Because what you don't want to happen is you don't want it to fill all the way up, and then it doesn't have room to blend. And then if it's all the way up, then it actually can spill over the top. So we're going to turn it on. Look how quickly that is filled up. And I only used 1 carrot and 1 wedge of the butternut squash, the onion, the basil, and now I'm adding in some lime juice. Oh my gosh, this is smelling so good. These limes are super huge. Make sure we get all the juice out of there. I have an extra one just in case I need it. So look how pretty that is. All right. I have not added in the other 3 ingredients, which is the salt, cinnamon, and the seaweed. I just want to taste to see if I need to add any other vegetables first. Oh my gosh. Wow. I knew it would be good, but that's good. I taste the onion. I would actually put a little bit more celery, but I don't need it because I'm just going to add the salt. But that is good. It's very mild. Nothing is strong about this. There's no one vegetable that's overpowering. I'm getting a little hint of the onion, a little hint of the celery and the carrot, and of course you're definitely tasting the, I was going to say pumpkin. Most people here call it pumpkin, but it is the Calabaza squash. And so while this is out, I'm going to add some salt. I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon. I would say about a teaspoon. And then I'm going to use about half. And this is just a nori sheet, what I use for the sushi rolls. I'm just going to tear off a few flakes. We'll just start with a few because I think the taste is great. This will just add to it, so I don't want to overdo it. And this will be ready. Definitely want to make sure that seaweed gets blended up. And I actually have enough ingredients to make a second batch. So that's what I'll do once I finish with this one. All right, let's taste it again. Oh my gosh. That smells so good. Tastes so good too. Okay. I think I need a little bit more squash. There's something missing. I need just a little bit more squash. But everything else is coming through. I think, of course, you know me. I think it just needs some more salt. But I'm going to add some more pumpkin squash. And let's add a little tad bit more cinnamon. This is a big batch. And I'm going to add some more salt. So I'll just have it there just in case I need extra. I almost want to put another piece of celery. So hold on just a second. Okay, so I think the pumpkin is going to add some more body. The celery is going to add a little bit more flavor. Oops. All right, let's go again. Did I add some more salt? Let's see if I need it. So this is not going to be a smooth, oh yes, that looks delicious. So this is not going to be smooth like you would normally see because we're blending it up. So you're going to see that it's kind of fibrous, which is okay. Let's give it a taste. That's on the money. And it's starting to warm up. That is on the money. Just a hint more of cinnamon, hint of salt. Y'all are probably liking my hints, huh? I keep adding hints of this and hints of that. I think this is going to do it. I'll get this cleaned up and we will come back with the finished product. This is our finished raw calabaza squash soup. It looks delicious, it smells delicious, and it absolutely tastes delicious. And of course, don't forget that we can down this with our CranApple juice that we made today. Today is day 18, so let's go to our juice advent calendar and see what the word of the day is. And the word is cool. If you are in a cool climate, then definitely a warm soup will help to warm you up. So make this soup, enjoy it, tell me what you think, drop some comments below, and we'll see you next time. Delicious.